This is the Ondioline, a French synthesizer that was built from 1939 through 1975 in various different versions. I've recorded a whole record with the Ondioline that is out now on Psy Records, and you'll hear pieces sprinkled throughout this video. Despite this being one of the very earliest electronic instruments, this has features that keyboarders have been wanting for decades. For example, the further you press a key, the more volume you get. And vibrato, when you do the wiggle on the keys. This was already available in 1939. I kind of feel betrayed by keyboards. I have to correct myself here. It was not quite available in 1939, but that year is when development started. George Jenny spent time recovering from tuberculosis in a student sanatorium in the south of France. He convinced the doctors to allow him to set up an electronic music laboratory for his research, first next to the sanatorium's morgue, then in other parts of the facility. That itself must have been some kind of conversation. Under the name L'Onde Sonore Génie and with the help from the Centre National de Recherche Scientifique, he began independently building and selling his instrument, christening it the Ondioline in 1947. In total, around 1,200 Ondiolines were built between the mid-1940s and the late 1960s, most of them handmade by Jenny himself. You can also control the volume with the knee lever. And the more gain you put into the instrument, the richer it sounds. So the volume change is also a timbre change, like on an acoustic instrument. That is due to the vacuum tube design, which creates pleasing overtones, and the speaker that does not simply distort, it breaks up beautifully. To have these kind of deep electronic basses available this early, this must have been mind-blowing. The most prolific and well-known performer on the Ondioline was Jean-Jacques Perry. He also acted as the main demonstrator and salesperson for this instrument, taking it with him around the world, putting on shows, playing it in film scores, pop singles, and introducing stars like Edith Piaf to the instrument. In my research, I found that Ondioline parts were oftentimes falsely attributed, and it turned out to be a version of the clavioline, a similar instrument from around that time that I still need to make a video about, especially since I used it on my EPs with Lokmam No Computer extensively. You can see that this is an older instrument because it doesn't use any of the common synthesizer topology. You basically have letters A to P and two settings for vibrato and the speed of the vibrato and the on-off switch to play it. So to create certain sounds, you have to remember where each switch is positioned. With M, you can add a percussive plug. And with P, you get a percussive envelope. But to play it percussively well, you've got this fantastic string here. But this can also do percussion and bongos. Therefore, we need to ping the filters. Find a resonant position for the filters. If you're on my Patreon, there's an Ondioline Soundpack waiting there for you, as well as an exclusive B-side from my album. Your support makes videos such as this possible. Thank you very much. When I played the Ondioline on Breve, I used it like a human voice, a solo trumpet or a violin. Just a few dashes of notes here and there added such life to the repetitive TTSH and surge modular patterns. It works well with effects, like the hologram chroma console or the Varus Audio Meraki. Especially the digital glitch of the chroma console updated the vacuum tube vibrations to the year 2024. Now, while the speaker sounds great, this also has an audio out. We'll have to try that, just so you can hear the difference. If you are a true master of this instrument, like the legendary Jean-Jacques Perry, you can switch all these sounds on the fly. This is Daniel Kitzig, a master player and restorator of the Ondioline, and it was his instrument you've been hearing all through this video. Through Daniel, I got to know Forgotten Futures, a non-profit dedicated to keeping these instruments alive. It was initiated by Wouter de Bakker, also known as Gautier, and they loaned me this exceptional instrument to work with. That was very generous, since there are only a dozen or so around anymore. It was meant to be an affordable instrument, so according to Perry, not the best parts were used to keep costs down. That caused many instruments to fail with time. Which is a shame, since it surpasses many of today's instruments in terms of sheer musical expressiveness. It is a true player's instrument, and you can spend a lifetime dedicating yourself to it. It's sad that this instrument has to leave my studio now. I've grown quite attached to it. But someone else, thanks to Forgotten Futures, will get the chance to play and write music with it. And that is a beautiful thing. So thank you to Wally and thank you to Daniel for borrowing this to me. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you have questions or stories about the Ondioline, please put it in the comments below or visit the Heinbach subreddit. Thank you all for watching. I'll be seeing you in the next one.